Hello and welcome to the Roll Down, a teamfight tactics podcast with a heavy focus on the Oceanic and Southeast Asian region. My name is Cutler, a challenger player from the region, and I am joined today by my guest host, Sol.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm Sol TFT. I've been like a sort of midish like GM player for like most of TFT's history, but recently in Set 5. Yeah, I hit like Charlie and I've been hovering around that ever since. I started streaming pretty recently, maybe like 2, 3 months ago at this point, and yeah, that's kind of just me in a nutshell, I guess.
Brilliant. And guys, the reason that we've made this podcast to begin with is one, I approached Sol specifically to be my guest on this podcast. I didn't want to do it alone, and two, the man loves to talk TFT, and I think it's really going to come through in our episodes, and especially today when we're talking about this game. And not only that, but we're two players who are really trying to push towards that next level of TFT game, and that is to be competitive. And not only that, it's to bring light to an underappreciated region for the last few seasons of Teamfight Tactics, with only one representative, and of course from Southeast Asia, zero representatives. So that's why we're here, and I want to go straight over to our guest. And our guest for the inaugural episode is someone who barely needs an introduction, especially from me. So I'm going to let him do it himself. Drowsy, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, guys. Hello, hi guys. My name is Drowsysw0rd. I've been playing TFT for a bit since set one, but I haven't gone serious until set four, and I've been Charlie since set four. Currently, I'm in GM now, but I did hit challenger like a few weeks ago, in like 800 LP, around 870 LP. Trying to shoot for 1K, but I don't know, taking some spontaneous apes, but we'll get there. I started streaming since January, and it's been really fun streaming TFT, meeting the community, the OC community, as well as the NA community, and the people from C as well. Kind of brings everyone together, actually.
Absolutely, it does. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
Drowsy, I want to ask you briefly about your sort of history with TFT as a whole. And I know that recently you participated in the regional
Mm-hmm.
finals for the Reckoning
Yep.
Championship. So talk to me a little bit
Yep.
about that.
Yeah. So my history with TFT is I used to play it when it came out, but it was just like casually for fun with friends, and we just look at comps from like mobalytics and stuff, test them out, and see what happens. But then like during set three, I was doing the same thing, like spamming one comp, and that one comp I was spamming was Silk Riven. If you guys didn't know what Silk
Oh
Riven is,
shit! Yeah, I love that comp.
yeah,
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 yeah, I love Silk River.
it's so
Yeah,
good,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Soul River. Yeah, not
It's
the
like
other name. Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
Soul
this
River.
Riven from like the one with dash that uses her Q dashing around,
Yeah,
and it's just unkillable.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's so good. And then it's just a bunch of Star Guardians just supporting her. It was so troll. It was so fun. But then, because I liked that so much, they announced set four, right? They announced set four PBE. Because I liked that so much. I started like sweating. I started sweating set four PBE. And then it came to a point where I was playing a lot. And then I was meeting like people like Raza and stuff on PBE too.
Mm.
So it was giving me some false false hope of skill. I was like, whoa, I'm diamond already? Like I'm Charlie? Whoa. So
Yeah,
I went into the actual games and I was like
yeah.
playing ranked. Like I was playing ranked like every hour, like every minute. Well, I did get sleep, but you get the drift. But eventually I started climbing a bit, and then when I got to masters, I was like, oh, should I stop at masters or should I keep going? So I kept going because why not, right?
Yeah,
Then eventually
100%.
you get to like you get to see the same people in your games, and you get to realize that there's people that Twitch stream, that like stream on Twitch. So like people like Jose and Jane. Like I saw Jose had his name like Jose Paulo Twitch, so he plugged it in. So I watched his stream, and then I didn't know there was like cracked TFT players, but there's a bunch of them, right? So I was like, oh, I can just maybe I'll stream. Maybe I'll try live streaming if I get to Charlie or something. So that's what happened. I got the challenger, and I was like, okay, I'll try streaming TFT, and it's just sailing from there. Like from the first stream, I just kept streaming whenever I could. To be honest, when I was free, I was having a lot of fun. And then set 4.5 came in, and because I hit Charlie before, with each new set, I just want to push like higher LP records and like higher rank records. So when it got to 4.5, I started going in tourneys, like regional tourneys and stuff. And if you ever get to the tourney format, it's very different to
Yeah,
like
for
the
sure.
ladder. It's so different, right?
Completely different beast. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like in terms of like game tempo and stuff like that, you have to think very differently. And from there, I've just been more involved in the scene since set 4.5, and yeah, going from each tourney I can possibly do and see if I can do my best. That's pretty much it.
Amazing. And I want to bring it over to my co-host now, Sol, and talk to you very briefly about your history with TFT. I know you said that recently you started slightly more recently than both of us, but what about TFT was so, I guess,
Oh,
engaging to you
I started streaming a lot more recently, but
yeah.
I've been playing the game for ages. Yeah. I've played the game ever since like it came out. So I played it like back in set 1, and I mean, this is back when like no one knew how to play the game, so it doesn't really mean anything. But I was like one of the I think like first 50 people to hit like masters. This is back when like you just got into Charlie by default. If you were masters, you just got like Charlie by
Lit.
default. But there was like one patch that just like sort of made me mental boom and quit the game, which was the I don't know if anyone remembers. It was the noble. It was the noble patch. It was the patch where
Six
nobles.
noble?
Yeah, and you could back then you could hit Kayla at level 6.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah, so it was the 6th noble with Jinx carry patch with like hex deck as well. Old hex deck,
Oh,
right? Hex
that's
deck where
gross,
you disable
dude.
items. Yeah, that patch made me shut up with the game. So I quit the
Oh,
game.
yikes.
I didn't play again until I didn't really I played a little bit of set 2. Didn't really like set 2. I came back in set 3. Where I spammed Drowsysw0rd all the way to masters. And then
Not
I just
bad.
played regularly. Yeah, and then I just played regularly from then, and like hovered around like 400, 600 LP. But like I never really pushed through to like higher LP thresholds until sort of set 5.5, which is where I hit like around. I peaked like what 940 LP this set, and I've consistently been around 800 to 900 cents. For me with like streaming TFT, streaming was like I guess for me streaming was always something far away that I wanted to like get into, but I didn't really know like how. I think the thing that made the push for me was because like, in TFT, like kind of what Drowsy said, where like once you get to the higher elos, you start seeing the same people over and over again. And I'm just
real.
like, man, I wanna like actually make friends who like also play TFT because I don't really have any other like none of my like real life friends or like my friends from other gaming groups care about TFT. So I was like, I really wanna meet other people who play this game. So yeah, that was it. That was like the thing that pushed me over the line. I was like, okay, I got enough LP. Maybe someone will watch me. And I started streaming, and that was pretty much it. Oh, and lockdown happened as well, right? And yeah, we're stuck in lockdown Sydney for like 2 months, 3 months, I think, at this point. Something insane.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for that. I really appreciate it.
Thank
You. For me, I basically I started with about a week left in set 2. Because I'd finally got a computer, I was basically watching Twitch streams of TFT for set 1 and set 2. Really like interested in it, but never getting the chance to play it because I never had the sort of the means. And I finally got this crappy old 2012 Mac laptop that basically overheated every time I played a TFT game. And for an entire week, all I did was play the very end patch of set 2. And I loved it. And I got to Diamond in a week. And I thought, okay, now I'm going to take this more seriously. I bought myself a proper computer. And I've been going crazy ever since set 3. I peaked in Challenger in like the top 10, which was really enjoyable. And then I took a pretty reasonable break for set 3.5, 4, and 4.5. Not trying as hard, sort of hovering around Masters and Grandmasters before coming right back for set 5 before I decided that I hated it after 2 weeks. So I also stopped trying then.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about a little bit when it comes to set 6 what makes a set enjoyable for us, I think. But for me, the game kind of ebbs and flows between really enjoyable sets and really unenjoyable sets. And from what I can see so far, and I guess we will move into talking about it, and that is set 6. Set 6 looks like it's going to be very enjoyable. So I want to bring up our very initial thoughts. We have all gone through the leaks, and we'll get into pretty much everything as we're going on. Drowsy, your first thoughts on set 6?
There's a lot of traits that do very creative things, if that makes sense. So, and then there's like a lot of surprises, and compared to like set 5, like Mutant, like there's like traits within traits. It's like random traits, and then crazy, right? And then there's the Colossus one, which is like they occupy 2 units on the board. There's like a lot of creative ideas they did compared to set 5, which felt like a lot of stat raising. If you think about like Ironclad and like Forgotten and like Redeemed, they just raise AP. There wasn't any creative ideas. Well, only Hellion.
Nightbringer.
Yeah, Dawnbringer. Yeah.
Hellion was like the only one, right? That was kind of creative. And even then, Hellion was kind of, you know.
Yeah, Hellion was kind of. So that's cool, and I like the theme a lot. I like futuristic, jazzy, gizmo stuff, basically.
Yeah. So your first impressions as well, please.
I think that it's clear that this is the most ambitious set that they've ever made. Like, it's by far the most, as Drowsy mentioned, it's by far the most creative in terms of what all the traits do, right? Like, there's so many traits that interact with items in certain ways, or, you know, can vary different, like, from game to game, like Mutant can, like a positioning dependent, all sorts of things like that, right? Whereas it's very, 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 it's a complete far cry to set 5, where, like, 90% of the traits in set 5 are just gain shield when you lose HP. Gain stats when unit dies. Gain more AD and AP when you win. That's it. Yeah. So like, I think that already is like, the set 6 could be the most unbalanced mess, and it'll still be fun because there are so many things to try, so many like strategies to explore, right?
Yeah.
And that's not even like diving into the actual set mechanic itself, which is its own beast. I feel like I could be talking for a really long time about that.
Yeah, that does bring us on to the set mechanic, Augments. Drowsy, what are your first initial thoughts? We're not going to go through every augment because there's over 100 of them.
It'll be a while.
It's already.
And just for anybody that doesn't know, an augment appears in your shop at 1/4, at 3/6, and 5/1. And what they do is they give you 3 separate options of buffs or upgrades to your board or minions in some way. They also can potentially give you gold or effects that affect your enemy's board or your own board. So, Drowsy, talk to me a little bit about what you think of the mechanic of the set.
I feel like for augments, it makes people like have their own definitive play style, if that makes sense. Like people would not choose like the same augment sometimes, or they might follow a guide. Who knows? But also, it's really cool. It feels like a roguelike. You guys played roguelikes?
Yeah, that's what Dispatch Socks tweeted actually.
It makes me feel like it's
like a Slay the Spire run.
Like if you see boons from like Hades, if you know that game.
Yeah, it's like boons from Hades. Yeah, that's
it's the same thing. Like in Hades, there's this god that gives you like 3 choices of power, and it's like you buff this by like 1%, nerf this by 1%, like reduce cooldown. It's the same thing. It gives the same kind of feel, but for augments, there's like so many things going on. It could be a balancing like nightmare, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
It certainly could. Sol, you mentioned a little bit what your initial thoughts are. I want to ask you specifically what you think about where they're placed in the game.
Oh, you mean like
1, 4, 3, 6, and 5/1? Yeah.
1, 4, 3, 6, 5, 1. Yeah, I that's kind of, I guess, interesting, but yeah, that makes sense, right? Like 1, 4. Yeah, 1, 4 and 2 1 are the same thing. Yeah, 1, 4 is basically like start a game, right? And then 3, 6 is the same typing they had with the armory, right? With Radi Armory, which makes sense to use 3, 6 given the data we had, like the data they have from this set. And then 5-1 also makes sense, right? It was kind of a soft test
Yeah.
with the double ready armory at that point. So yeah, I think the timings make a lot of sense. I like it so far.
Great, great, and let's move swiftly along to the actual champions and some synergies. I would love it if we could sort of go down the list a little bit and talk about some of these. I'll kick us off. I want to talk about Academy. Academy is the first one that is mentioned on Mobalytics. It's also the first one that Riot brings up
Well, yes.
as a game. It's sort of the most vertical trait. It is sort of, I guess, the easiest to understand, and they usually like to promote relatively easy to understand traits. Sol, your thoughts on Academy?
Yeah, it looks pretty solid, right? It's kind of like a. Let me just make sure I'm reading this correctly. Increasing this bonus. Yeah, it's almost like a Spellweaver in a sense, like where you're stacking, like you're getting more stats as things cost, right? It's not particularly like expressive in terms of like how the actual trait operates because it's just stats, right? But yeah, I mean, but yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I don't have any particularly strong feelings about Academy, I guess, because it's sort of just stats. But yeah.
I will say that all of their units, and we won't get into every single unit on this episode, otherwise we'll be here for 4 hours. But all of the units do have branch off to really interesting different pathways as well, which I think is really interesting. I want to bring up one specifically, and that is the legendary 5-cost Yuumi. Drowsy, you had a chance to look at Yuumi. What are your thoughts?
Oh yes. Yuumi seems quite OP. Like you can
I agree.
they can like attach it to an ally, and then it has its ult as well, and it deals it deals like magic damage, stuns them for like 1 second. Kind of broken, along with the cut.
Yeah.
Kind of does lots of things at once. Kind of like the cuddly, and the cuddly trait's like really good as well. Wait.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to see Yuumi actually. Like, how do you kill this unit? Does it just keep attaching?
When everything else dies, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you actually kill this unit?
It doesn't just
actual
jump
league.
from
Does it just
jump.
keep attaching?
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
basically.
It's so annoying. It's like actual league.
Yeah,
So
it's
Yuumi
actually
Yuumi doesn't die.
shit.
It's just a random cat at the end you have to kill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that basically is probably
yeah.
what from the gameplay footage that I've seen so far is the most likely to happen. Yuumi is the last one
Yeah.
alive in a lot of the
Makes sense.
boards.
It's a fun cost. I mean, it's fair. It's a fun cost. Yeah.
This is a sort of a
Broken.
varying topic, but I want to ask you both.
Yeah.
In this set, the power of legendaries appears to be sort of more akin to set 3, set 2. Very strong, very sort of game defining, different, enjoyable, interesting abilities. Do you guys like that as a TFT core mechanic? That's to either of you.
For like the game defining ults.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually enjoy it. Makes the game more fun for like casuals too. And like I don't know. Like those like legendary units, like their fancy ults can actually like define the whole fight. It's pretty good. Especially like Jinx's rocket, super mega death rocket.
Hmm.
It would be so good, right? Let's say everyone was like low HP. Jinx comes in with the rocket, boom, everyone's dead. That's already a TFT highlight. So I think it's good for the game. Makes a lot of exciting TFT highlights that come from a non very like flashy game. That makes sense.
I personally love it. Like, I personally think that like 5 costs should be like super OP and that they should feel like legendary units, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Right? I like it a little bit less when 5 costs are designed as carry champions. So like I don't like it as much with like for example like Kale.
Kale.
In like set 5. That's when I don't like it as much. When like you build a comp around a 5 cost and the 5 cost is your carry is when I don't like it as much.
Oh yeah, because when you don't hit it, it just feels awful, you know?
Yeah, at least the toxic play patterns where when you hit and win, you feel like you just high rolled, and that the only reason you won was because you were lucky. And when you miss and lose, it just feels even worse because you can't really do anything, right? I like it a lot. Like I think set 4 like is a perfect example of like good like really well designed legendaries. Because like I don't think any of those legendaries, besides like maybe like Samira at one point, was itemized as a carry. But like they were all very impactful. Like Set, Yone, Kane, like These are guys. These are like units that you can just randomly see in your shop, pick them up, and play them. It's just really good. So yeah.
Very similar to set 2 as well, where pretty much the legendary is splashed into anything you were doing at any time. I really do enjoy that style of play. Let's move on and talk about Chemtech. What I will do that I didn't do last time is actually explain the trait for our audio listeners. So after you drop below 60% health, that's a Chemtech unit, they gain 25% damage reduction, 50% attack speed, and regenerate 5% of their max health each second. It's a 3-5-7-9, and it goes from 4, 8, 15, and then full combat. I want to ask you, Drowsy, about this first of all. What are your first impressions of Chemtech?
I don't know if 8 seconds is like super long, but it seems pretty good. But 8 seconds seems super long if all the champions are dropping below 60. But you probably could like frontline something. Like don't corner it, get it to like 60% health, and then try to like make it buffed in, like super buff that it kills everyone. Like Urgot, I think Urgot's could be like a Urgot can use
looks sweet. Urgot looks super sweet. Yeah.
And especially with Twin Shot, I think he can use this Chemtech thing well. Like he'll get 50% attack speed along with Twin Shot, which just sounds kind of broken.
Yeah.
In my opinion, personally.
Twin Shot a bit like old Blade Master.
Yeah, it's BM basically.
Yeah.
But like units that shoot instead of auto, so melee auto rather. But yeah.
You guys both brought up Urgot. I want to talk about a champion that's not yet been in TFT, and that's Zac. Zac coming in as a
I've seen a little bit of Zac.
Thank
a little bit of Zac.
Now,
so
Bruiser is a little bit like Brawler. However, it has a different overall trait in this set. All allies have increased health, and Bruisers gain double that bonus. What do you guys think about this sort of... I'm going to call it an augment, not to be funny, to be serious. An augment on the term Brawler, the Brawler.
I think it's great.
Yeah, it'd be pretty good.
I think it's like nice because Brawler is one of the origins that they've used in like every single set, and it's been the same every set, except set 4.5 where it gave you a little bit of 80. But for the most part,
this could make it more splashable and make more sense.
Yeah, it's a lot more splashable, right?
Yeah, because all the characters will get health as well, so they would die to like random stuff.
Yeah, I like the splashability part of it. The fact that everyone gets a bit tankier, and then the Brawlers themselves, or the Bruisers themselves, also get that extra burst of tankiness. It's quite nice. I think it's good.
Yeah, that is pretty good.
I'd like to talk now about a trait as a whole, and that is a trait that we see come back in different forms for the last few sets. And we're going to talk about Mercenary, formerly known as Fortune, formerly known as Space Pirates, formerly known as Draconic.
A lot of stuff.
This is a new take on it. A new take which gives you a treasure chest that adds dice to it at every interval. And you have more chance to get loot with the more dice that are in there. So if you hold on for a really long time, you can get a really big payoff if you roll that dice really well. And what do you guys think? I'm going to ask Sol you first about what you think of a gold mechanic, a mechanic that inflates your gold like this.
Oh, so like an econ mechanic, right? So like pirate, space pirate, all that kind of stuff. Just like in general, or
what are your thoughts on on that mechanic specifically?
I love it. So like I come from like a very heavy card game background. Like I played like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, and all that stuff. Like I play like tournament stuff. So like in those games, there's this concept that like your life is like literally a resource, and that there are cards that you play that will like drain away life points, but will give you something in return. So like, you know, you lose this amount of life, you get to like draw more cards, or like you get to do something powerful, basically. So like in TFT, right, econ traits should satisfy that sort of vision, where they're things that you should be able to you have to play like these weaker units, but you know you get a bunch of money in return, and you can turn that money to spike up, right? So I think that they're good for the game, and that like they're quite healthy.
There's certainly times overall when they aren't for the game, and that is when maybe they go a little bit overboard and buff them a little bit too much, or maybe give them a trait that synergizes far too well with other things.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, right, is that like they can be imbalanced at points and be unhealthy for the game. But I guess my point is that like their existence is a healthy part of the ecosystem. Like, the game would be very boring if you didn't have Fortune, if you didn't have Draconic, if you didn't have Specialised. The game would be very, very boring if there was nothing like that in the game. Yeah.
Absolutely. Drowsy, I want to talk about Tahm Kench, first of all.
Oh yeah.
Perhaps the most creative legendary in the game ever. I would say
it's
so.
pretty
I
cool.
definitely think that
No cap.
we're never going to see anything even close to what this kind of thing does, at least for a while, and certainly not in any thematic way similar.
True.
Talk to me about Tahm Kench. What are your first impressions?
Tahm Kench is kind of interesting because when he eats them, right? If they die inside, they get random item components or like gold, which is it kind of feels the dopamine rush you already get with Mercenary. So like, imagine you get extra. Imagine when Tom finishes off a unit, and let's say you really wanted a Titan's Resolve, right? But you only have a vest slapped onto a carry. But what if Tom eats the unit, randomly spits out a bow? It's too lit, right?
True.
Like I just think it's a really unique it's a really unique design what Tom does. I wouldn't even think of that. I don't even know what Glutton does. What does Glutton do?
Glutton
Glutton's the
is
mechanic.
his.
It's the one where he gets to eat. You feed him units
Yeah.
to give him more stats.
Oh, yeah. I
So
think
you-
yeah.
So you
There's,
convert gold into stats. Yeah.
there's so much going on. Like honestly, and then yeah, you can feed stuff to Tom Kench as well, which
Yeah.
is so like when you play Mercenaries, it's like you're like taking care of this big brawler monster,
Yeah.
which is I think it's really cool. I mean, what they did was really cool. It's a very new play style that we haven't really seen in TFT, and it will fulfill all those people that really love playing Fortune and Draconic and stuff like that. Good for them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think one detail that I really like about Mercenary is that you get player agency in choosing when to cash out, which is something that's very different to the other eco traits. Like Fortune and Draconic, you kind of just sit there for like 80% of the game, and then okay, it's time to play a game.
Taking infinite damage.
Yeah, exactly. Like Fortune, okay, you are AFK until 10 lose streak. Okay, now it's time to cash out. Draconic, okay, you are AFK for like 10 eggs, and then let's see if we hit. Mercenary is really cool because every time you need to think about like, okay, is it time to open the chest or do we greed for like more stuff, right? And it's good because it makes you think every turn is a time. Like I think that's really good.
The next trait / grouping of champions I want to talk about is one that we know very little about, and that is Mutant. The text for Mutant says, Mutants gain unique bonuses. These are different each game.
What's the question marks?
That's it, with a bunch of question marks.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I want to talk about Cho'Gath, who makes a return not in his same form as previous set. However, he is a unique trait that we have not yet talked about, and that is Colossus.
Oh yes.
Drowsy, talk to me a little bit about Colossus.
So Colossus, they're just huge units that like occupy 2 units. They occupy 2 units on the board. They're like so if you put one in, they're immune to CC. They're immune to CC, and if you put 2 in, they take 25% reduced damage. And for Cho'Gath, right, because it's his ability is Feast. So if you know Feast from League of Legends,
yeah, it just eats things.
it's eats. So like when he gets enough stacks and he's immune to CC, he's actually just this giant tank. That would be just annoying to kill. Same as Silent. I feel like these could be they served as like splashable tanks in my opinion, like splashable frontline.
Yeah.
It's like another frontline option, which I'm super excited about.
Like very like splashable, flexible frontline that can sort of just slot into anything.
Yeah, if you're like stuck on like frontline options. I feel like I had this idea in my head when I saw it Colossus that I want to do a comp that looks like Attack on Titan. when I saw it.
Dude, we just need Akshan. We just need Akshan in the set.
That's what I
We just need
what I
Akshan.
felt like. I was like, when I saw it, I just thought of two huge giants and like dudes hopping around the map. So it's super exciting. That's why I'm so excited for this, to be honest.
Yeah.
We will move on because unfortunately, as it suggests, we don't know all that much about Mutant. We will get
Yeah.
our hands on it as of recording, probably about 7 hours from now.
I will just add like
Mm.
the footnote that I really like what they've done with Mutant in that it's similar to, okay, I didn't really play set 2, but like from what I saw, how like Lux and Kiana operated on set 2 was really cool. How they were like different traits.
Oh,
every time.
elemental stuff, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like Kiana was different, I think, every time, and then Lux, like you roll different Luxes basically, which is really cool. I think this is like building on that idea, and yeah.
Yeah, I'll absolutely, totally agree with you. Let's talk now about a trait that only occupies 2 units, and that is Sisters. That is Jinx and Vi. Sisters are empowered by trying to one-up each other. Vi's ability range increases by 2, and Jinx gains 50% stacking attack speed for 3 seconds on takedown. I'm going to talk. We're going to talk mostly about Jinx because Jinx is the 5-cost big AD legendary unit with a huge ability. So what do you think of Jinx?
Jinx looks insane. I don't know what else to say. It's like the fact that like Jinx was already a really good carry to begin with in every iteration, like in every time she's shown up, and that now it's a legendary unit where she just like jumps up, comes down, AoEs a bunch of things, and is immediately in rocket form and just blows everything up.
Ooh.
Yeah, good unit. Yeah. I guess my hope is that she'll be fairly slashable and that like her base stats are just gonna be good enough to where once you pick her up she's good. Because what I would not like to see is that she's like very adamant reliant. Because this leads back into what I was saying earlier about healthy 5 costs, right? It's not as great I feel like when you build around a 5 cost as your main carry. But yeah, I'm hoping that Jinx will be a very splashable unit that just comes in and blows things up.
And we did get a question earlier in chat about Jinx specifically. Jinx's ability damages your own units on landing and continues to damage the units that you have there.
Yeah, friends and foes, yeah.
That is the...
Griefy.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
It's a bit griefy, but is it the first time that we've ever seen an ability like that in the game?
Yeah, I think
it
so.
is. I think so, right? It is. We literally haven't seen anything else yet that has friendly fire, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got 2 more that I want to talk about, and this is another one where we don't have all the information yet. Before the pod, we were talking a little bit about it. All 3 of us had different answers as to what was going on here. I want to talk about Yordle.
Oh
yeah.
Because there is a legendary Yordle that exists in the game. A few days ago, the leak was you could only get it from the trait. When we got into the call initially, Sol said that you have to 3-star every Yordle in order to get it.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's been confirmed, I'm unsure. However,
I keep going. Yeah, sorry.
it is unbelievable that the game comes out in 6 hours and we don't know. It has been confirmed apparently that's how we get Vega.
Yeah. That's all the Yordles.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Totally. So I think Bunny Fufu did it, no?
Yeah, it's like even like stuff like that is just so it's what I sort of love about this set. Like even things like okay, this is a brain dead 3-star everything reroll comp has like a cool payoff like that. It's really sick. Yeah.
I love it.
It's so cool.
I love it. Something that's come back that is in every set. We talked a little bit about the sort of the brawler archetype. Assassins are back. We have a question on Assassins later. Both of you have played infinitely more Assassins games than I have. Because I've played probably about 2 games of any Assassin comp ever. Probably, I think. It's not for me.
I think I've said Mason a lot when I've lobbying with
Drowsy. I spent half the set playing Sins, so it's like stuff from Ground Zero when I had to play.
I abused Dark Blue Buff LeBlanc in set 5. Yep.
Oh my god. I didn't
Yep.
play that much Sin in set 5. But
Stuff
5.5, it just felt so good. I don't know what it is.
Piper Blanc and stuff up Cat were pretty busted.
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
busted. Yep. So
I
yeah.
didn't realize we were bringing a blue buff LeBlanc player onto the podcast.
Yep.
I didn't
Yep.
realize that.
Go. See, dude, guys, I was reviewing my most played comps, and I was looking at like set 5. And it was dark blue buff LeBlanc Carbon, and I'm like, oh.
Dude, you guys know that when I started this set, I was not gaining that much LP. I was a bit damn horrendous, right? But back in the bronze days, because they hard reset your rank to like
Yeah.
unranked. So I was a bit losing in bronze, right? Guess what I did? Dark blue Buffalo Blood.
Carlos told me. He told me like you're down in the dust. You just like dark blue Buffalo.
It was too lit.
It's a
It's so
disgrace.
annoying.
It's a
So
disgrace.
toxic.
That's so toxic.
At least put it on Rise like a man.
Yeah, that's how I thought it was actually
True.
illegal. It's actually so stupid.
That was more illegal. That was way
That was
more illegal.
almost more illegal.
The blood
Yeah.
comes in and just perma CCs while like freaking one-shotting them.
That was the most broken thing in set 5, in my opinion.
Rise that because it survived the whole set was the issue.
Yeah.
Like, they never fixed that at any point. Dark Buff Rise survived the whole set. So stupid.
I want to ask you guys a little
okay.
bit about
That's ethics.
assassins themselves, because as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned, this version of assassins is a little bit different to ones that we've seen before, in the sense that the costs of the units vary quite heavily. There's a 1 cost, 2 cost, 2 3 costs, and a 5 cost. So we get no 4 cost assassin. And in my opinion, I think that opens up sort of 3 different ways to play assassins. Rerolling for the 1 and 2 costs, rerolling at 7 for the 3 costs, potentially going up to level 8 to try and find that Akali 2 and the 6 assassins, getting your endgame board out there.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that sort of play style, and how do you think it differentiates from, I guess, the assassins that we know?
Going for like Akali, for the level 5 Akali, but I feel like that's so risky. I just feel the risk already. I feel like it promotes many different ways to play Sins. I feel like the best one could still be Shaco, because the same as.
Is it the same iteration of Shaco?
Yeah, it's the exact same.
Still safe, right? Yeah, Shaco's probably still good. I was hearing that Talon was also probably pretty good as well. Jose was saying Talon looked pretty good. Yeah. I think for me, honestly, I like Infiltrator a lot more than Sins, but like I really liked what they did with Infiltrator in set 3. But
Well, that was good.
Yeah, Infiltrator was cool, right?
Yeah.
Because I like that. I like the reset factor of it. I like that they go like Tyson back whenever they kill a unit, like they reset.
That was good.
Yeah. But look, talking about assassins, yeah, I think it'll be fine. I think I mean, look, we'll have to actually play the game first. But like, I think it'll be a similar play style to what we've already seen. Like mostly reroll comps. Akali, I mean, it's unrealistic to play for like a 5 cost as your main carry anyway. So Akali will probably be like a capstone sort of unit to finish off like your 16, right?
Yep.
16, yeah. 16 is probably still gonna be really good. Like I don't see that being weak, you know. Yeah.
It's certainly lower numbers than it has been in previous sets. That's for sure.
Yes,
50% crit chance and 75% crit damage.
Yeah, I did notice. It does seem to be significantly lower numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw them too.
But I think that's also because there are if I can just add a point, I think it's also because that there are further like things that augment damage. Like Talon has Imperial, Twitch is like Chemtech. I don't actually know what Syndicate does, but I'm assuming that probably does damage. So
and the augments will help the cap as well. Like there's like trait related augments. So if you high roll those, you are like chilling, you know.
Yeah, I've already seen like a bunch of augments that like make you do more damage, give you RFC for free, stuff like that. So yeah.
The Syndicate, just to let you know, there's one chosen ally at 3 Syndicate. Shaco is a Syndicate as well, so there's two built in, 2 assassins. So the Syndicate champion with the lowest current health gets 30% Omnivamp, 50 armor, and 50 MR.
Yeah. Okay. That's actually kind of interesting. It wasn't like damage that I thought it was.
Yeah.
It was more like it's more like survivability and tankiness. That's pretty interesting. Yeah. Okay.
And I quite like that on Shaco, you know.
I think that's
really
means
good
that,
on
like,
Shaco.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that means you just don't have to deal BT anymore, right? You just full damage it and we're good.
Full damage it and pray for Syndicate.
Just a couple more guys. I want to talk about the unit that I've had the most fun watching in like preview videos, and that is Galio, who's another Colossus.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
A 5-cost
Cool.
Colossus who basically is like a combination, like all the best parts of like 9 cultist Galio into one
Yeah,
big 5-cost.
For real.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Colossus trait itself. So having 1, of course, we know that takes up 2. Having 2 takes up 4 slots. And to do that, to basically take up 4 slots, you know, level 8 board, you can only have 4 units behind these 2, so it's kind of insane. But those Colossus take 25% reduced damage.
Yeah.
Sounds
Insane.
And they're immune to crowd control as well for the whole fight.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Radiant
The even the
QSS.
PC part that sounds kind of nutty actually.
Galio has
yeah.
so many splashable traits as well. Socialite and
Yeah.
Colossus.
I mean, yeah, Galio is like what I love, like in like a 5-cost, right? Like it's just a unit that you pick. You see it in your shop, okay, he's going in.
Boom.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you see it in your shop, and immediately the game becomes a question of how can I fit this unit in, right?
Yeah.
So Galio also has another one that I consider to be incredibly splashable, and that's Bodyguard. So after combat begins, a couple of seconds after, Bodyguard taunts enemies around it. So if they're trying to get around, you know, they're trying to get around your frontline, Galio kind of keeps them there while your backline or your front to back style composition will do work.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that.
I already love this. As someone who I mean, I'm a hypocrite because I like playing Sins too, but as someone who hates getting their backline deleted by Sins, having something like this in the game is really nice. Like
Pretty healthy.
Yeah, having units that like innately Z0rd is really good. I think because it opens more counterplay options, right? Yeah, it's just innately very good.
I feel like there's always going to be some kind of Vanguard tanky synergy. Just increases armor. And
Vanguard in the set?
No,
It's not.
Oh.
Okay.
that's the
Alright,
closest
so
we get.
Yeah, this is the Vanguard of the set then.
yeah, it's the Vanguard of the set.
Which is good. Because Vanguard's kind of boring.
Yeah, you don't have to do like random not tanky units at the back.
Yeah.
Well, you still could, but
I
like
think there still will be some of that. Like there always will be some of that,
just
right?
won't
If
be
you're
as
playing
like
nonsense.
hugely necessary.
Yeah, you can just hire some bodyguards.
Yeah, sure.
Warshi Innovator.
Warshi
Innovator.
Innovator.
Who said that? Who said?
Guys, Innovator is the mech style.
The mech trait, right? Yeah.
Mech trait. The units that bring another unit out. It's movable as well. Something I saw on video today. Do you guys think?
Oh, it's movable. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
like you
excellent.
can
Yeah,
actually
that's
move
fine.
it around. It has an ability where it sort of does like.
That is lit.
Yeah, that's so good. That was one of the problems of A-Bomb, and I think why A-Bomb
Yeah.
felt like so boring because
You have to like.
Sorry,
Wait, you go first. You go first.
Okay. Because A-Bomb like it takes up a hex. You can't move the hex. It has the exact same pattern. Like the AI behaves the exact same way. It dashes forward, and that's it. All right, cool.
And you have to like go for like A-bomb bait because you already know where it's going every
you have to
time.
exactly. Yes.
It screws up positioning a bit.
I'll tell you what the only
particularly
fun
bad.
comp of A-Bomb was, and that was when it was on PvE and
Triple Z0.
and you could
Triple
see
Z0.
zero. That actually made that trait more interesting in my
I was like
opinion.
quite fun. It was so degenerate. Like when I played on
I think
PvE,
it's kind of broken.
when I played on PvE, it was just a bunch of swarming like bugs. I'm with a
Yeah.
zombie. You just didn't know what was going on. It was so funny.
It was easily at its worst in set 5, where you built it as an assassin, and it was just a 3, like, it's... Nightmares. Yeah, nightmares.
We talked a little bit about the sort of armor trait. I want to talk now, finally, this will be our last one before we get on to a couple of questions about the set, and that is Enchanter. They are the MR, the mystics of the set. Specifically, there are 4 of them, and it does have a 5th chase trait. However, these ones are a little bit different. Enchanter's healing and shielding is stronger, so having them in your comp actually allows them to heal and shield for more. Keep you alive, survive for a bit longer.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Enchanter?
I don't know what it would do for Oriana though. I think it'd just be like the splash because her ability is like shockwave, right?
Shockwave, right? Yeah.
She doesn't really like shield or heal anyone. If that makes sense.
Yep.
So she's like a random splash.
Does
I think it's
Clockwork do anything? No, it just makes
increases attack speed.
Yeah. I guess it's just it just strengthens the trait for like the other units, right?
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
just we got a V raid. Thank you so much, V, for being here just to break character for a
Aw.
second.
Oh,
while we're
hello,
in the middle of-
V.
Hi,
Thank
V.
you.
Thank you so much
Hi.
for being here.
Raid.
Yo, thank you so much, guys.
Thank
We
you.
are
Much love.
we're recording the first episode of the Roll Down Teamfight Tactics podcast.
Yo.
Really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much.
Much love.
Much love.
See Drowsy's face light up. Of course he does. His great friend V's here. Thank you, V. I appreciate it. You're a superstar. Thank you. Guys, on that note, I think it's a perfect time to take 30 seconds to gather ourselves after some absolutely amazing raid, and then we're going to get on to answering some questions as well.
Yeah.
So,
Hey.
so what I'll let you do here, if you don't mind, is get some questions out here, and we can have a chat about them.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Cool. Should be right. All right. Are we good to go? We ready?
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. Thank
go.
you again.
Okay.
Thank you again.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's go. So the first question is, where do we think the problems with the set are like most likely gonna be? Like, what's gonna be the most difficult things to balance?
Oh, maybe twin shot or protectors. Personally, twin shot seems broken, and also I think like the more I have to play it, the more answers I'll have for this. But I feel like yeah, probably like protectors, twin shot, and yeah, probably those.
Okay.
Arcanist seems pretty basic.
Uh-oh, we lost Soul.
It's okay.
Oh no!
Oh, you're back.
It's okay.
Oh no!
You're back. There you go. Oh,
There he is.
wait, he's
Is
gone
back?
again.
Is it back? Is it back?
No, you're gone
I'm
again.
sorry. I'm sorry.
That's
I'm gonna
okay.
screw. I'm gonna screw up. I'm
It's
sorry.
alright. Hi,
Oh.
Jay. How you doing? That's okay, guys. We're
Okay,
just taking 30 seconds. V, thank you
It's a
again.
little scuffed. My bad.
Thank
No,
you.
no worries. No worries.
Oh, I like to add one thing in terms of like scrap, because this could be like broken early. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it reforms into one complete component. Like one component forms into a full item. So like that could actually be so broken early, especially if you put 4 scrap.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on the fact that I think augments are gonna be really hard to get right. There's so many of them.
Sure.
I saw a
That's
tweet.
like yeah.
I saw a tweet earlier
Sorry,
today,
go
and Mort said he didn't even remember all of them.
Yeah.
That's not a
Oh
bad thing.
no!
That's
Oh
the
elephant in the
no!
room.
That's not a
by
bad
far
thing.
The elephant in the room is the augments. But
It's over,
okay.
guys.
The
Um,
I don't think it's like
keep
the
going.
end of the world. Like that's
Nah.
just funny. Like it's a bit silly that that's like a problem. But there are
Yeah.
so many. They can't
There's so
all.
many,
There's like
bro.
eventually the higher you get in the ladder as you go up, the more optimized play
Augments are.
becomes, and the
Yeah.
more optimized augments become. You could be picking between 10 in each tier that you know are good, and basically they're going to have to be very mindful of the fact that they might need to change 20 or 30 at a time, buff them, nerf them, change them around, remove them. Even like I wouldn't mind if after 6 weeks they were like, look, the ones that are getting picked in 3%, 6%, whatever percent of games, they just say they're not working.
Yeah.
Remove them, change completely, make something new, bring something new in. Oh, we've been asking for one that benefits assassins attack speed because they get crit or something, you know, or whatever. I don't have all the answers for that. It is a lot of work, and they put a lot of effort into this set.
Yeah, for
They
sure.
basically mentioned since the first week of set 5 that like we're looking at set 6 as the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, set 5 was a
I
killer.
think, yeah,
was a killer
I think
set.
my thoughts. I was gonna say my thoughts about augments are like when I first saw them in action. Like the biggest thing that like I immediately jumped to my mind is that this is what they wanted Chosen to be. Like This
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
this is something that changes every game, forces you to like reevaluate what you're currently doing at important points of the game, and yeah, it gives you like direction, right? I think I think the thing is that it's okay for augments to never be in a state of like total balance.
Yeah.
Like there's always going like when you have a system this big, always going to be augments that are better than others. That's like
Yeah.
fun. I think what ideally you want it to be though is that you want the better augments to be a little bit like require a little bit more finesse to get the most out of. Like you don't want the best augments to be flat stats, if that makes sense. If the best choice
Or it
is
can be.
like yeah, if the best choice is just like really brain dead, like it's just this is more stats.
It was
oh,
pick every time.
Yeah, this is just more gold. Like there's no decision making. But if the
Yeah.
best augments are things that fundamentally change the way your units behave, and then you play accordingly, and then it's really, really OP. I think that's good. I think that's like a good place to land at, right? But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's a good one. The next one is: can challengers break the attack speed cap when they receive the double attack speed bonus after a takedown?
That's it.
Okay, you guys are gonna need to carry this one.
I
don't have the answer.
As far as I'm concerned, the max attack speed you can get to is 5. And there's only ever been one unit that could break it, right? And that was Cogmore. I don't think that they would make a whole trait able to break it. I think it's probably going to cap at 5.
Yeah, it's already capped, right?
Okay, if we didn't discuss Challenger, so Challengers have increased attack speed, and upon landing a takedown on a target, Challengers will dash to a new target, doubling this bonus for 2.5 seconds. And it's a 2, 4, 6, 8 trait, and it's 30, 70, 125, and 200% attack speed.
200% is a lot of attack speed.
That's a lot.
There's a lot of attack speed.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's a lot. But I'm not even sure. Like, who uses Challenger well? Kaiser?
Yeah, Kaiser and Fiora. Is Fiora a challenger?
Fiora's a Challenger.
We didn't get to. Yeah, Fiora's like a sort of a
Fiora's a
Tryndamere-esque.
Yone probably also.
And Yone.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're both sort of
Imagine Yone pops off.
kind of reminiscent of like Slayer from set 4.
Yeah.
Well.
This almost reminds me of Infiltrator, though, no? Like, you're getting attack speed, you're getting resets, like not resets, but like you're getting more boosts on kills. Yeah.
I would say that I don't expect it to go over 5 attacks a second.
Unless someone from like YouTube figures it out.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be.
Surely
there'll be someone
in the lab.
One
Like,
of us can
go.
try it tomorrow. You know.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. I think we'll go with that one. So next one is: can you explain more in depth about how the Yordle trait works in regards to the 3 breakpoint?
So it's like Draconic, right? So like after combat, you get an extra Yordle. So but it's like the egg breaks instantly. So
it
if you
just
do
kinda
Yordle
pops in.
reroll, yeah.
I
If
saw
you
the
do Yordle yeah.
sorry, you go, Dress.
Yeah.
So when like it could be easy to freestar, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then you get this massive like Yordle Vigar. That's what you apparently get if you freestar all of them.
I'd be really interested to see if after you hit a 3-star of a Yordle, if it still gives you copies of that Yordle. I would suggest that maybe not. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay, so chat's saying no.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. That's great. That's like a really good like quality of life. Like this comp will be viable.
That'd be an econ nightmare, right?
Yeah.
You'd be mad rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So especially if you 3-cost the 1 stars early, that's good. Like that's really good. Because you're just getting like so much gold every turn.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of 3-cost. There's like 2 3-cost Yordles, I think. Vex and something else. Talking about 3 Yordle here specifically. Yeah, 3 Yordle.
Yeah, we're talking about 3 Yordle. Yeah.
And Heimer. Yeah, so getting basically a guaranteed 3 extra gold every turn, even if like it supplements your rolling a lot better as well.
Yeah.
I really like it. I really like it.
rolling chances too.
Yeah.
Let's say you want to slow roll for your champions. This makes it quite a bit easier, especially if the odds on is great, you know?
Yeah, for sure. All right. So I think the next one we kind of already answered already. The next one is was early thoughts on Mercenary. Do we think it has the same potential as Space Pirates, Fortune, and Draconic?
Yep.
We already discussed this a little.
Yeah,
but...
I love it. I think it's really cool. You brought up a good point about like being able to choose, do I need it this turn? Can I wait 2 more turns? That kind of thing. Like the payoff there is really interesting.
It fulfills my dopamine rush. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think to add one more bullet point that I hadn't said was that it means that like the way that Mercenary behaves is that it means that you will never have a game where you didn't get to hit that dopamine rush. Like you will never be stuck in Fortune Prison, and you will never die with an unhatched 5-turn egg. You will always.
Oh yeah, that feels so awful. I feel like that's the worst part about playing those things.
Yes.
When you don't hit it, you just don't want to play the game ever again.
Yeah.
But, like,
Fortune Jail was the worst because it's like, oh, I just spent like
so
40,
bad.
I just spent 30 minutes and like I didn't like nothing happened. Like I just died.
I went from 9 lost streak and I was like, okay, I got Ace Soul 2. It's ready to go. 10 lost streak and I'm like 3 health.
Yeah,
and it feels horrible.
Yeah. Fortune Jail felt by far the worst.
Yeah, even going back to like Space Pirates, it was sort of a different example, but like, you know, you go to level 8 on 4-2 and you just like furiously roll to find that one gangplank every single time. And then you're just rolling at 0 gold for the rest of the game while you're slowly dying. So
well, Pirate is the perfect example of like the issue with like when a 5 cost becomes like a carry. Right? Because like it's very all or nothing. It's very feast or famine. You either hit it and you win, or you don't and you lose.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Next up. So which 2 synergies do we think have the best chance of being paired together?
Jazz, I'm gonna let you answer this one first while I have a quick look.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Well, what comes to mind is Syndicate, and what we discussed before was like Assassin Syndicate. Seems pretty good. Yeah. Seems to amp up your chakra really well. And I think Academy and any stat raising thing like Arcanist. So you could do like a Lux carry, right? And your Lux could just do crazy damage because of the stats she gets from casting, as well as the Arcanist buff.
Yeah.
So I think those would naturally go together, in my opinion. And yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Arcanist has a bit of a sort of a dusk feel about it. Like it's gonna be very splashable. I was gonna say Arcanist and Chemtech, because Chemtech is quite a. It's like its ability gives tank stats, and then of course Arcanist gives you spell power. So
broken.
It's probably not gonna. It's like set 4 Riven was exactly that. You know, it was like a tanky ability with you built tanky items, and because of the trait, you got flat damage basically out of your ability.
Yeah.
So there is definitely a potential for a Chemtech maybe if there is one that works in that composition to really shine. I would say like maybe keep an eye on Mundo or Zach.
Yeah. I don't have a particularly creative answer because I don't know. For me, I've got to actually play the set. But yeah, things that jump out to me are things like Chemtech and maybe like I don't know, maybe like Chemtech and Bruiser. It seems like a pretty natural fit. You're getting more max HP. You're getting more value. It's like a Dawn. It's almost like a Dawnbringer proc, right? You're getting more value out of max HP. Like I feel like that's a pretty good one. It's like a boring answer. Like Arcanist paired with like I don't know.
Anything.
Anything. Yeah. Like Arcanist's Scholar seems really natural. Like, yeah. I don't have a particularly creative answer, but I there's probably because there's probably like so much you can do. It's almost decision paralysis. So yeah. Cool. All right. Next one. Okay. We also touched on this one a little bit, but happy to revisit a little bit. Is it boring or exciting to see assassins back in their same form again? I guess we kind of touched a little bit on that. But...
I think it's pretty the same, but I feel like it's necessary to have like backline access in this game, or else people will just be cornering the units like forever. It gives a new playstyle as well. So I feel like it challenges people to change their positioning a bit instead of like pasting things in the same clump, or like it makes people like move the units. Yeah, I think it's necessary for the game, to be honest.
I like that Blitzcrank is back as well. I will say on that, like it's a little
bit
off
we didn't
topic.
talk about Blitzcrank.
We didn't talk about Blitz,
I like that Blitz is back. Thank God Thresh is dead.
God.
Like, freaking hell, like.
I
I hate Thresh so much.
I feel like what made Thresh so tilting was like if you got a 3-star fresh or like 2-star, it just stay in the same target
Yeah.
for like forever.
Yeah, and it just drags it to the middle of the board, and you're just like.
And then all your all your fights end up being like fresh gap, like random fresh gap.
Yeah, because yeah, I can't speak. The delay cost makes it that it's sort of random at times who he
It's
hooks.
so tilting, man.
Yeah,
Like,
and,
bro,
yeah.
I just can't deal with
I
it.
sympathize. I
Can't deal
sympathize.
with
You
it.
can more about Thresh together. I sympathize.
But like
But, you know.
Blitz, it's like,
Yes.
oh, you screwed up in positioning. Like,
Yeah.
it already feels like you screwed up.
Yeah.
But fresh just feels like RNG happens. If that makes sense.
Well, I was about to say, Blitz does have the Zephyr interaction, which is not
Oh,
great.
yes.
The Zephyr Blitz is for sure going to be a thing, and it's going to be even worse than it ever was now that everyone's infinitely better. So
Yeah.
that was extremely frustrating. Let's never forget Zephyr Blitz, where you can't put your carry on any of the hexes properly.
I will say too that there's a Zephyr style ability in this set.
Chris? Wait,
Enforcers?
there is?
Enforcers.
Yeah.
And it exists.
Oh, there is. Yeah, there is.
It exists with
yeah.
Sniper.
Yeah.
Like you can play Caitlyn, and then your up can be.
Yep. I like
flat
it.
as
I
well.
like it.
And
This is actually
it gets
fun.
rid of a front
Yeah.
line. That's something that I didn't
it
talk
hits
about.
front
I would
line,
say
yeah.
that like being able to
Yeah.
tech Jace into your like level 8 Sniper plus frontline board, I love it. I think that's awesome.
Cool.
Be able to get rid of like that frontline tank that all your snipers get stuck on. You actually get
There's not really,
access
like,
to the
a
back
li-
line.
There's not really like a Lee Sin kind of champion, you know? Like no
No.
one can just yeet. There's no yeeting unkillable units.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's a really good point, Drowsy. There's no like Lee Sin, Viego, Urgot in this set. Okay, Urgot's in the set, but you guys know what I mean.
Thank
There's
God,
no set 3
man.
Urgot.
Seriously though.
There's no
thank
set
God.
3 Urgot, right?
God.
No.
I was gonna say, if I could quickly touch on like the Blitz thing again, I guess the thing that's different this time with Blitz in the set is that we have the new Trap Claw. Is probably the biggest difference now, right? We have the new Trap Claw to guarantee, nullifying Blitz hooks. So that's that'll be good. But yeah, there's no insta kill unit, which is kind of interesting.
I feel like Trap Claw, ever since they reworked it, it's like become the most like essential item I've ever seen.
Oh, it has,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
It's everywhere, and if you don't have it, you're just screwed.
Especially as
I
the
don't-
game moves towards
yeah.
ability, like so much towards like the abilities making the difference during a game.
Mhm.
Like, I mean,
I don't mind it, but yeah, I think it's not great when the game is in a state where you feel like you need it. Like you can't play the game
Yeah.
without it. It's bad. It should feel like a bonus, but yeah, it shouldn't
Yeah.
feel like. You shouldn't be in a state with so much backline access that you can't play the game without a
True.
Trap Claw.
Trap Claw.
yeah. And in
Um,
short, I don't want to see Sins ever again.
Oh, really?
I
Yeah,
don't like Sins, but I don't like it because I think it's like unfair or bad for the game. I find it just boring.
Right.
I find it boring.
Right. So for you, it's not the sin. Like it's not units that jump into the backline and kill things. It's the fact that it's more that sin just gives you crit and gives you damage. That's
Yeah, I
right.
just find like the play style of assassins to be not interesting to me. But I mean, it's literally, I think it's probably got to be at least one of the most popular like comps that people play. You know?
Oh,
It's
easily.
like has
Yeah,
fancy
easily.
sword moving things.
Yeah.
It's so high. It's so high energy. Everything just pew, 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 in like 3 seconds.
Yeah. Not only that, but
Pretty
like
well,
I bet you probably feel really cool when you play Sins. I don't know. Like I just imagine that like you put your Shaco in the right spot, your Nocturne
You
gets
feel
on the right
cool,
thing.
and then you look
Yeah.
back and realize you're actually cringe.
When you
Yeah.
outplay with the Nocturne, you feel like Jose Paulo. That's why.
Yeah,
True.
exactly. You get those rank 1 feels when you play
Hey,
Sins. Like
I feel
that's
like-
the thing.
Some
Yeah.
top stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Rain's right. You put sunglasses on inside when you play Sins.
Hog life.
Yeah. Just because it's so good. Like, you get that perfect Diana roll, you just know what it feels like to be a winner.
Exactly. That's why we degen sins.
And that's not for me. That's not for me.
All right. I think we're at the end of our questions. The viewer questions we had lined up, I think, unless I'm
Okay.
randomly missing something.
Perfect. I think that was pretty much it. I may
yeah,
put one
okay.
more in there unless I didn't. Was
Same
the
question was
last
the
one?
last question,
That
right?
was the last
Yeah.
one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Great.
Go.
That pretty much wraps it up. I will give us a couple of minutes here to discuss anything that hasn't been mentioned yet that you guys want to talk about. So now, going through the list, we went back and we're like, oh, this was there and this was there. Is there anything that we missed that you guys want to talk about?
What did we miss? Did we miss anything?
We didn't
Funny,
talk
right?
about things like socialite.
Socialite. Yeah, socialites is like another splashy one, I think. Like Jace, we haven't talked about Jace. Do we ever talk about Jace that much?
We didn't talk about Jace. What does Jace even do? I don't even know what Jace does.
So it like it
so
changes.
Jace, yeah, he changes.
He changes to according to your backline or front line. So you can use the hammer, or you can use
Oh,
the
that's
shooting thing in
cool.
the back. That's really
Oh,
cool,
that's
right?
cool. Oh, that's cool. So it's a frontliner or a backliner. Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. I like it. I like it.
Personally, so many cool designs in this
Yeah,
set.
yeah.
Very.
I feel like yeah, I feel like there'll be like endless things to talk about like after a week of this. Not gonna lie, it's just
Absolutely.
so many cool things.
Yeah, and I want to give another mention to scrap because Drowsy, you brought it up before, is like something that's going to be hard to balance. Adding a full item with just having a component on your unit, awesome, so cool.
It's awesome.
So cool. It's random every time as well. Like you could have a tier on your backline and get Frozen Heart and Redemption, those kind of things, and that could really screw you over.
Wait, does it do it for every champion with one component, or like every scrap champion?
So it's 1 incomplete for one person at 2, and then 3 incomplete at 4, and then everybody gets incomplete at 6, and then health bonus is doubled.
Not bad. I guess that's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty nutty.
Yeah,
that's actually not bad.
I like it. I think it's really cool. I think it's going to be a really. So I will say this too. There's 2 1 costs, a 2 cost, and a 3 cost. Oh, actually, sorry. There's 2 2 costs and 2 1 costs. So splashing in 4 at level 4 is really doable. And that is like such a good early game board, especially because you've got units like Ziggs, which is an Arcanist and a Yordle, and you've got Blitzcrank as one of those scrap units. So it's like a really, really good transition board. Like you're kind of like Sentinels in this set. You'll see a lot of people going like early scrap and then switching off at 7 if they find a different carry or things like that. That's cool. I like that kind of play style, and I think having that sort of level 4 spike be impactful for a number of different comps is good for the game.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good early comp, like Skirm Scent right now.
Yeah, cool. That was my one that I wanted to bring up as well.
Yep.
There's just a couple of like things that I don't know how they're gonna fit, really. Like Clockwork. Clockwork you play like because you've got Jin, and that's someone we didn't talk about. Jin's back in the same form he was in before, but he also gets his ultimate from League.
He kind of which is really cool. Yeah,
it's cool. Actually, I'm actually happy that I didn't like copy and paste set 4.
Yeah, I like that there aren't like too many direct reprints, which I think is good. Like that's fan.
But what Jin did last time, I think it was pretty healthy. I don't know.
I like Jin in set 4. I really like Jin in set 4.
Like when there's like this really unkillable tank, if you got GS Jin, it just kills him in 4th shot.
Can you imagine Jin in set 5? Like if Jin was in set 5, like so many problems are just solved. Like
cabs won't be a thing.
Yeah, heck, don't worry about it. Boom, 13k. It's dead.
Exactly.
Yeah, it would have been nice if there was like a hidden ability where his 4th shot could have made sure that Revenants didn't respawn.
Yeah, Revenants. I'm not gonna miss Revenants, to be honest.
No,
that was so bad.
As much as set 5.5, and I know this is a set 6 podcast, but as much as 5.5 is like so much better than what set 5 was on like a design level, keeping Revenants, horrible. Horrible idea.
I think keeping Revenants was fine. It was more adding Fiddlesticks was a little bit questionable.
True.
That was very questionable.
It's like it was already good, and then they started to add a tri-trait that was also A-bomb. That's not like Fiddlesticks.
Everyone just played A-bomb. Everyone just played A-bomb.
Can you imagine if Fiddle wasn't A-bomb? Like, it's okay. It's a 5-7 now, guys. It's over.
It's
over. PB's tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just to wrap another quick thing up that I thought as well. 3 cost orbs. Oh, sorry guys, I'm gonna sneeze. I think.
Bless you.
No, I'm not. It's okay. Having 3 cost. I am. I'm not. I am. I don't know. Somebody else talk for a second while I decide whether or not I'm sneezing, please.
All right. Well.
Well,
Oh God.
but yeah, 5.5.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Goodbye.
But honestly, I think a lot of people are very happy with 5.5.
I was happy. Yeah, I'm happy enough with 5.5.
Like, I think you can play more flexible.
Hmm.
Well, I'm not the most flexible person in the world,
Oh.
so
Yeah, I said it a little bit on my when I streamed today that I think 5.5, like even though like okay, 5.5 suffers from the fact that it's tied to set 5 in that like the traits are always
Yeah.
extremely boring. But I think they did a really good job in making what is most like it was sorry they made what was possibly the most balanced like state I've ever seen TFT in. Like the end, like the last 2 months of 5.5, I don't think I've seen a game like this balanced before. Like I've rarely been in a spot where I felt like every single carry is playable and I can top 4 with almost anything.
oh yeah, last patch was really good.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like even this patch right now felt fine. Like I played like 10 games today and it felt fine.
Yeah.
Like I played Karma, I played Draven, I played Lucian. Like literally everything felt viable, which is good. I played Vel'Koz, yeah, everything felt viable, which is really good.
But what do you feel about Akshan?
See ya.
Like as in his
Yeah.
design,
Yeah, design wise, like
you know, I think he honestly would have been a lot more toxic than he actually was. If that makes sense.
yeah,
I think he's balanced by the fact that his 1-star version is extremely weak. Is
for sure.
what was interesting about Akshan. Like the 2-star version with Biss was just like disgusting.
Disgusting. That was the worst thing in the game.
But it's so rare you actually ever get to that state that it didn't really feel like a problem, if that makes sense.
Okay, that's
The
true.
1-star version is so weak.
They learned
Oh,
their
yeah.
lesson from Samira, where they didn't
Oh.
where they didn't
Yeah.
nerf Samira 1
Yeah.
for way too long.
When 1-star Samira with Biss was enough to just everything.
Yeah.
And just kill everyone.
And they just
Yeah,
kept
yeah.
it. They didn't gut the 1-star
Yeah.
and keep the 2-star as like a end game carry. You
And
know,
people got yeah.
they learned from that really quickly that like if something is too overpowered at the 1 cost like that and is just wiping every board, they have to gut the 1 cost. It's a bit like Heimerdinger as well. They learned the
Yeah.
same thing from Heimerdinger, where they nerfed the 1-star into the ground and made the 2-star playable.
Super
I don't know.
strong.
It's just that Heimer still feels so bad. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
guys.
they did gut Heimerdinger too as well. Like Heimer was.
I'm pretty sure my 2-star Velboard today beat a Heimer 2 and Teemo 2. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah.
Like, I
Oh,
know
that
there's
was
a
so
problem.
toxic.
Well, it's just
Like,
because
I know there's a problem.
they learned their lesson. Maybe they learned too many lessons, but they
Yeah.
definitely learned a lesson. That's for sure.
Yeah.
sure.
All right.
I will say the very very last thing that I want to say is that I'm glad like Cogmore is back. I like Cogmore. I think it's cool to have
Oh,
like,
yeah.
a backline.
Cogmore's
It's
cool.
5-star, right? I think.
2-star,
Is it?
2 cost.
2 stars.
Dude, I'm.
It's a 2 cost sniper mutant.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
2-star Cog. Okay, fair. Sounds
I'm
good.
excited for Cog.
We have one.
Okay.
We have I think guys, if you don't mind, if you got a question in chat, I think we can probably spare a couple of minutes
Yeah.
to answer a couple of questions.
Oh.
So if you've got questions about the set, I will bring this one up. We'll ask which
Uh,
2 legendaries are the armor and MR shredders. So that is, I believe, Victor is the one with his ability who shreds armor, and I don't know if there is
Oh.
one that shreds MR. Or he shreds both, I guess.
Who's both?
Interesting.
What is death rays?
So it's just him, then I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not
Okay.
bad.
Yeah. But
He
yeah.
also Victor also destroys a portion of shields, a bit like Volibear.
Oh, the shield breaking. I think it's good for the game actually.
It's fine though, because we don't have
Can.
we don't have Nightbringer is the thing. The reason why Volley felt so bad was because the entire Nightbringer trait revolved around shield, right?
I will say
Yeah.
it's going to be necessary because things like Janna and Seraphine
Yeah.
With shields.
are in the
Ego
game.
champions.
And enchanters too.
Yeah.
They're
They
in-
do literally what they do in League. They shield a bunch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
But I feel like set 6 looks really fun, but I feel like every set will have its patch.
But there will be
balance
problems.
Yeah, there will be balance
But,
problems.
like, I think it's already really clear that there's going to be balancing issues with Augments. There's just no way they can balance it, in my opinion. Like,
It's just-
there will be.
It looks
Sorry,
fun.
Jazzy, you wanna- Yeah, it looks fun though. Yeah.
You just come to expect it that there's always going to be 1 week where the game
Yeah.
just sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's okay. Like, that's all right. You don't have to play that week. You can go outside or do something
Yeah.
else.
Oh wait, I tried.
I think what touching grass? Jesus.
Yeah,
I think what
exactly.
I like about Augments though is that like there's like 120 of them and you only get 3 of them every game. So like
Mm.
even if something is broken, you're not gonna get it every single game. Like
Yeah,
you're
sure.
not going to be able to like abuse the exact same broken augment like 10 games in a row. So like no matter like at the end of the day, the best players will still like rise to the top. Like
Yeah.
skill expression will still be
Mhm.
exactly. Like, making the best use of the augments you are offered will always, you know, prevail, I think.
100%.
Cindy asks, will any of you do an unranked to masters no stop till master stream?
Oh no, man. Oh, maybe. I'm thinking about it.
I'll do like a G2 to Masters stream or something.
I'll do a bronze to silver stream if you guys
I'll
want.
see. Yeah, I'll see how I feel. I'll have to see how I feel about
I'll
it.
do
If I
a
like
my
it set
5
enough, I might
placement
do it.
games stream.
I
And
might
if I like the
do,
set
yeah.
enough, I might do it. Okay.
I'm gonna do a 5 placement game stream in 5 parts. If that makes sense.
OJ says down for OCE race to masters. Oh yeah, I don't know about that one. The thing about master races is that they're not even like about who's better. It's just about who plays more.
I don't think it matters, to be honest. When people
Yeah.
do like climbs,
Yeah.
it doesn't really like prove anything. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Usually you just play more. That makes sense.
I agree.
You get
Just
there
a
when you get there. I mean, you know, like especially for you, Drows, you've been sort of like 400 LP, 800 LP, 600 LP, 700 LP, 400 LP.
Yeah, I'm like one of the
700.
slowest climbers ever in like in sets in general.
Yeah, and
I
like
get there eventually.
for me in 4.5, I was like Masters 0 LP until like 4 weeks left, and then I climbed 800 LP in the last month. You know, it's like you just do it. We do it when you can. If you want to really if you want to really push to be a competitive player, you should probably play PBE and then 3 days before the set comes out, talk to somebody, ask somebody what they think the most broken comp is, and play that for a week, because they don't make any initial changes that first week, you know, unless something is totally busted.
I was gonna say that that approach is probably like the best thing to do if you want to climb the most LP. But yeah, I was gonna say if you want to actually get good though, like good, it's better to just experiment. Yeah, take your time, experiment, try.
Just don't worry about your LP too much. Like honestly, no one really.
Like if I can exactly. I was gonna say if I can preach one point is to just like don't try not to get too flustered by like rank anxiety. The LP doesn't actually really matter. No one actually really gives a shit about your LP. And the thing is that like you'll be a much more complete player if you just like learn everything compared to finding what's broken and just abusing like the thing that's broken every patch. Like,
take your time and have fun.
You exactly. It's a lot more fun as well if you're like experimenting with different things.
Sure.
Instead of just abusing the exact same comp over and over and over.
Yeah. And look, I mean, set 5 and 5.5 have been out for like what 4.5 months or something, 5 months
too
even.
long.
And there's like, you know, there's friends of ours and fellow OC streamers and streamers everywhere that are still like, I really want to hit this specific rank. So they've been playing, you know, it's been 5 months and they're still trying to go for what they want. So you don't need to do it in 2 weeks.
For sure.
Sure.
It's a slow thing. It's a slow dance. Slow process.
And it's a slow burn. Yeah,
and it lets you play different games. You know, you can play marbles on stream or.
Oh yes, sir.
Yes,
golf with your friends.
Street Racer as well. Street Racer is another lit one.
Street Racer is good.
I love Street Racer.
Yeah,
I recommend, guys. I recommend.
Yeah, Street Racer.
You know, might even switch it up and play some Bayonetta or something.
Oh, Valorant! Wow, guys.
Yeah, if you're a TFT streamer and you want to play something different, maybe you should try a shooting game.
Even though it's hard, but like.
Yeah. Exactly. And guys, if we have any more questions, get them in now, because otherwise we're gonna wrap up.
I'm gonna try not get sucked into ranked anxiety. We're gonna play socially too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
And it got so much more fun to me. Like once I started like playing call with people, it's too fun.
I think everyone has their definition of fun when playing TFT.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? With anything, honestly. But
Tears asks why are there 3 handsome people on stream.
We're doing a podcast, Tears. That's why.
But yeah, guys, you know what I've been noticing? A lot of people have been actually like playing TFT with friends, like sniping each other.
Yeah, that's like I think that's like gotten like a lot more popular in like the last 4 or so months. Right?
That is a fantastic segue to very briefly bring up the fact that 2v2 v2v2 mode is coming out.
True.
Yes,
amazing. So good.
Second patch. Confirmed.
So good.
I can't wait for it. But I don't have any one to
do. Have they leaked have they given information on how the mode actually plays out? Yeah. I mean,
they did.
They did
We are
it.
doing an episode on that eventually at some point.
It's next week's episode. At the end of this one, guys, if you stick around, we will reveal who we've got on next week. It's very exciting. It is a duo-specific episode, and you guys will want to be there for it. Let me just say
Guys, it's me again.
it's Drowsy again.
It's gonna be me next week as well.
Yeah.
And the week after. And
The week after.
I was just permanently
Nah,
on the
it's
show.
Gavin.
We had a great question from Emmy, actually. I think this is a good one. Since 5.5 is ending, what has been your fave unit of set 5, 5.5?
For me, the favorite unit. Honestly, I really liked I think it was back in set 5. I don't know. I really like Diana, but I think I'm just toxic.
I actually think that Diana's fine. Like, as much
Diana's
people
so cool.
as much people,
Yeah.
as much as people give shit like about Diana, I actually think Diana's totally fine. You
Yeah,
have 4 costs. Like, it's supposed to be good, okay? Like,
I really like Coven. Like, no
Coven?
hate,
Yeah.
Coven. Coven. I said Coven as in like you know, being a thing, but I really like I really like
I did
Coven
like
for
Coven
some
too.
reason.
I think for me, my favorite was the Felios. I really liked how they reworked him into an AD caster. That was really fun.
Oh
I
yeah,
played a lot of Aphelios. He was really cool.
I think a lot of people played Aphelios.
Yeah, Aphelios in set 5 was kind of bench, right? He just autoed, and that was
Mhm.
it. Aphelios in
Yeah.
set 4 and 5.5 though is workage. Just jumps up,
Workage.
ults, 5 one-shots like 5 people. It's too fun. Yes.
It's definitely slightly more balanced than what the previous Aphelios was like.
I feel like Aphelios wasn't like that good. I feel like the whole
Five,
entirety of
what
set 5.
They nerfed him. They had to nerf him so hard at the start because it was broken at the start.
Yeah,
And then he became like okay towards the end, but yeah, he wasn't top tier.
it was then when he became an AD caster though. It was
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
everywhere.
I would say that my favorite my set 5 character was Morgana. I really liked Morgana. I love that they brought like her ultimate ability to TFT. I thought that was awesome. I think that was a really
Yeah,
like
Morgana was
creative
cool.
way to do it.
Yeah.
And I really like Darius as well, and I was absolutely furious when he got taken out of set 5.5, but it doesn't really
What do
matter in the end.
you guys think about Rel?
I think I liked Roll, but I think Roll is really unhealthy.
Yeah.
I like
Like-
Roll, but I think Roll is really unhealthy.
I think Rel was more balanced than Sejuani, but more annoying because of
Yeah,
the traits, basically.
Like Railway was good, just endlessly stunned and shielded everything. Yeah.
Oh, you know what my favorite 2 units were? Rise and Viego. No, any agreeers in chat?
Okay, I
Any
don't know.
agreeers?
I'm ending.
Did we just establish Rise as like the most toxic unit?
I think Viego's one of the most like toxic units
Viego
in
was
the
so
game.
toxic. 1-star Viego was so
Because
toxic.
no matter how much you capped,
Yeah.
Viego could actually just steal it.
Yeah,
away.
1-star Viego jumps in and
It was-
pass grabs a carry, and it's over.
So annoying. It's the worst. It's the worst thing in the world.
I think Viego is like. Sorry, Carla, do you want to go?
I was just gonna say I loved Yasuo this set. I loved it.
I did like Yas. Yas was fun. I did
Oh,
actually.
Yas
really
is
like
good.
Yas.
I like
Yas
Yas.
was a lot of fun. I played a lot of Yas. Yas was fun.
Yeah,
Yas
Yas
was
was
fun.
good. Very well.
Cavalier spat on Yasuo, like I really hope they don't make. So this is my hope for set 6. I'll say I hope that the spats don't like totally enable comps that like wouldn't exist normally
Really?
in that
Well,
way.
I don't know about you guys, but I love it.
Broken?
I love transformative spats.
I hate that.
I love it when a
No, I
comp
hate-
exists purely because of the spat. I think that's so cool.
No, I think
I'm
that
already
makes it.
thinking.
I think that makes it kind of
Do they have
we can
Colossus?
agree to disagree.
Do they
We
have
can agree to
Colossus? Do
disagree.
they have Colossus spat?
maybe
If
probably.
I do, I just
Didn't you just
Guys.
say you liked Protector ASOL, Cutler?
guys.
That's a while ago.
I thought of Colossus Yordles. It was too
Oh,
working.
shit! That's so working.
Too working.
Wait. That's so
That's
working.
so
Someone needs
good.
to do that. Someone needs to
That's-
Colossus fan Yordle. Wait, that's working.
That would be so funny, honestly.
So I can actually. I saw what these spats were the other day.
Oh,
Wait, Drowsy, did you play much step 1?
I played like a fair amount.
Do you remember how broken the stats were in that game?
Every
spat was good.
Oh, you guys know Void Sins?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was broken.
Yeah, but like every spat was insane. There was like, Sin spat was insane. There was like Demon spat. There was friggin' what else was it? Sork spat Aatrox. Yeah, I can keep going. There's so many good stats. That was really fun. Yeah. It's fun to go on a tangent.
All right, Drowsy's taking a quick break. I will say, okay, so tier is Academy. Rod. So Tia is Academy. Rod is Arcanist. Glove remains Assassin. Bow is Challenger. Belt is Chemtech. So you can actually make Chemtech.
Oh, nice. You skipped some
There's
things.
Imperial. Mutant is Cloak.
Oh, Mutant.
You can
did
actually
we,
make Syndicate spat with
It's a bit late, but did we touch on what Imperial does? Sorry, is it the same as in set 1?
I don't think so.
It's
like
a
you can-
little different.
yeah.
So combat Imperial does the most damage last combat becomes the tyrant tower. Oh, okay, no, sorry. It's just fixed Imperial then, because it's not random anymore.
Yeah,
okay,
so
nice.
they
Okay,
made
they
it
fixed it.
they made it way
Yeah.
better.
Okay, no, it's fixed. It's
Made
fixed
much better.
Imperial. You don't have to freaking like cross your fingers and pray like your Draven gets the Imperial buff like you used to.
Oh, yeah, that was
Yeah,
bad.
like, you cross your fingers and pray that your Draven's the one that gets
I
the
remember
buff.
that.
Yeah.
Because if it comes into like a random one cost, it's like
But
great.
it was yeah, exactly. Or because it was you back in set 1, it was you could go you go Darius and Draven if you haven't found Swain, and then you find Swain, but you still want the buff on Draven. You're praying no matter what.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Guys, I think that's pretty much gonna do us.
All right.
for
I think
tonight.
we can call it an
Alright.
episode. It's been a bit. All right. It was really fun.
It was
That
actually
really,
a lot of
really
fun, guys.
I will just
Yeah.
wind us off for the audio listeners and say thank you so much for listening to
Thanks,
our first
guys.
episode of the Roll
Thank
Down.
you.
Big thank you to Drowsy for being here on our
Thanks,
inaugural
everyone.
episode.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. A lot of
Yeah,
PPG as well.
You guys can
Yeah.
check out Drowsy at Twitch TV/Drowsysw0rd, and that sword is with a
Zero.
zero.
Right.
Yes.
Very cool.
Thank you.
And guys, after this is all over, I will still be staying live. So if you want to hang out, no problem. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to bed. Just kidding. I lied. We're gonna go raid somebody after this.
Oh.
I mean, if you go to bed
Yeah.
now, you can wake up and play set.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. If I get 6
Dude.
hours of sleep.
Dude, I'm probably gonna fail. I'm actually gonna down to fail.
And guys, I will just let you know that you can find this on our YouTube and on all podcasting apps tomorrow.
Oh no, that vlog missed and he just came.
Oh no. Okay, let's redo it again. Let's
All
redo
right,
it.
guys, start again.
Thank
All
you.
right, guys, welcome to the Roll Down podcast.
Oh hi.
We're here with our guest, Drowsysw0rd. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, sir?
I'm rank 1 EU and E.
Oh, shit. I'm a rank 1 Russian server.
Oh yeah.
Oh. God
Isn't that part of
dang.
you? Isn't that part of you?
So much talent here.
Guys, I will just say as well,
Alright.
finally, that next episode next week, same time next week, 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, not Australian Eastern Daylight Time, which was very confusing for Sol and I, where we were nearly an hour late today.
It's okay.
We will have a episode specifically dedicated to the 2v2v2v2 mode, the duos mode, and we will have Jose, Paolo, and Keith on
We'll
the
have Jose and
episode.
Keith.
We'll have Jose and Keith, who have agreed to come on the podcast and chat all
Philippines'
things OCE, Southeast
Let's
Asia,
go.
competitive TFT, and duo mode, most importantly. So look
Let's
forward to
go.
that, and we will see you next week, and that is where I will cut.